Hey everybody, welcome back. Sisters Uncensored. We are back, Ashley and Jessica.
Hi.
What's going on? Thanks for listening. This is episode 2.
Yes, episode 2.
Aunt Morphine and Munchausens.
Yes, so last we left you, we were talking about our grandmother and our dad and how he's a triplet and that he has this fourth sister who was never part of the triplets, obviously. Our grandmother said she had this extra child because she wanted to know what it was like to just have one baby as opposed to 3 at once. And so growing up in the 50s when the triplets were born, this was like an anomaly. No one had multiples like that back then.
Not naturally, no.
No, they were like celebrities. So
Yeah.
like they would go get ice cream or go to the bowling alley and like the newspapers would follow them everywhere because no one had seen 3 babies born at one time, and they were like little celebrities. They were always in the newspaper and followed around.
They were like in the newspaper for like Lenny of triplets, first day of kindergarten.
Right, yeah.
And they actually did it. Like the paper actually came to like their 50th birthday party
Yes.
that we had.
Yep, they did.
But yeah, so they were like a big deal-ish, you know what I mean, for like their town, you
Right.
know? But yeah, our grandmother ended up having another baby just to see what it was like to have 1 instead of 3. And she's the baby girl.
Yep.
She was always treated extra special because
She wasn't one of the triplets.
and she was the baby.
Yes.
Like,
And she was by far the favorite.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I think
she was
they
very
always
coddled.
babied her because she had to feel special because she wasn't one of the triplets.
Absolutely. I think you're totally right about that.
And that's what basically made her exactly who she is to this very day.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I feel like when we were younger, she was pretty cool. Like, I don't know. She just like,
Yeah, she was a hairdresser.
she was cool. Yeah. She was like
like
the cool aunt.
She always would bring us like to her salon and like do our hair, and like we had a prom. She made sure we were, you know, getting the latest and greatest. Like I think I
Yeah.
had probably 15 different color hairs by the time I was in 8th grade. 'Cause she would like
Absolutely.
experiment with all her new stuff on us. It was awesome. She was great.
I remember when she got her first chi.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. Remember?
Yeah,
That was like a big deal. Either way, she was cool. And then, I don't know, somewhere along the way, things kind of fell off with her.
I think we were young, and so we didn't realize like
What
the
was going
fall
on.
off, because I think the fall off for us is probably different than the fall off for like mom and dad.
Okay.
I think mom would tell you that she was always like batshit. And I think
Probably.
we didn't recognize it until we became adults and started seeing some of the adult chaos that we were like blinded to as children.
Agreed.
And thinking she's the cool aunt.
Yeah.
And then once we like got old enough to realize, that's when it was like, holy shit.
She's fucking nuts. Oh, yeah. Fucking nuts. That's so true. So we started to realize as adults that she is clearly a hypochondriac. I mean, we're not doctors, but there's a lot of
She's
hypochondriac crap going on.
There's always something wrong with her.
It's kind of like she's been dying for the last 30 years
Yeah.
of random illnesses.
Yes, always.
And we're like, what? I remember being a little kid and them being like, oh, she's so sick. Grandpa and grandma, she's so sick. Like, what's wrong? Like,
Yeah.
what is the illness?
Right. It's always something.
Yeah.
She has a pacemaker.
That no doctor will claim.
No.
Literally.
So this is where like I started to realize, even just recently as an adult, that with this whole like Gypsy Rose situation and everything, and like how the media like blasted on all that stuff, I'm like learning more about Munchausens versus Munchausens by proxy, and I was like, holy shit,
100
has Munchausens.
and grandma by proxy.
Yes, and then she by proxies our grandma.
Literally.
So, like, for those of you who don't know what Munchausen's is, it's like you basically make yourself sick for attention.
Yep.
And then by proxy...
You don't even really make yourself sick. It's you feign these illnesses.
Yeah. You basically, like, fake it. And, like, you go to doctors and you go to a variety of doctors. You see different specialists and they're all treating you concurrently. But I think back, like, especially nowadays with technology, the healthcare system is a little more wise to like everything that's going on because it's all integrated, where that wasn't always like that.
No, it was like you took some whatever records you wanted to take to the next doctor and told them, hey, this is
and
this is what I've been treated for.
She's been like diagnosing herself for like the last 30 years.
30 years.
Yes.
Easily. So long story short, again, we're not doctors, but the general diagnosis is that she's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain level of insanity there. And
sure.
it's always for attention.
Always.
It's
So-
straight up for attention.
She's like a waif of a woman. She has always been like
Facts.
teeny, tiny. Like,
Well, not always.
super tiny. Well, yeah.
Way back when.
Like in like when mom and dad got married, like in the late 70s.
She was actually heavy.
She wasn't heavy, but she wasn't.
She was heavy compared to how she's like 80 pounds now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but she looked normal. It was you wouldn't look
she
at
looked-
her.
yeah,
and be
no,
like,
be like,
"You're
oh my
fat."
gosh, you're fat. Yeah,
never.
no,
No, she was like healthy and normal.
Yeah.
but she is so emaciated at this point. Like you see her and she looks like a skeleton with skin. Like
Legit.
it's so gross.
And she'll always make sure to show you her pacemaker.
Right, because you can literally like see it.
No, because she wears off the shoulder shirts
And she has, like,
and
all
pulls
this-
down
yeah.
the top to show you her pacemaker, and
Yeah.
you're like, who put that in you? I want to meet this person, and yet at the same time, like nobody can seem to find the doctor that put it in.
Nope.
Very odd.
It's so weird.
She had to have like something done with that. I mean, maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, but from what I heard down the grapevine through the fam was like she needed to have something done to it, and like literally no doctor would claim that they put this in.
I'm not surprised.
Me neither. Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
So anyway, so she's like this tiny little human and like so thin that you'll see her and you're like, oh my God, is she sick? Right? Like she looks like she has like an eating disorder, like anorexia or something.
Yeah.
And the first thing that she'll say to you is how fat she is, right?
Well, here's the rule of thumb in our family. Like when you see her, don't ask how she's doing.
Never.
Yeah, that's the one question you don't want to ask.
Oh no, she'll go on for hours.
How you doing? Because she will go on for hours about, I had to get shots in my head. And it's weird too, because like if you were to catch her, like if a family member wasn't asking her and it was just maybe a friend or something like that. I don't know if she has friends, but whatever. I mean, that would be kind of unbelievable. But if it were like just a random person that she ran into, say, from town or something like that, and they were like, oh, how you doing? She'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
Things are really good. But
Yeah.
if we ask her, it's like,
she's dying and she had this procedure and that procedure.
I got shots in my head tonight and my pacemaker. Can you look at my pacemaker? You're like, bruh, I just was being polite. I'm just being nice. All right? It's not that deep.
And so we seem like insensitive bitches when we're talking about
We're
her
not.
like this, but like just to give you an idea of like I remember being 17 and she would call me and she's like, she called me one time and she's like, I have Uncle so-and-so, her husband's shotgun in the bedroom and I think I'm going to like end my life. And I'm a teenager at this point in time and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, I gotta call somebody. I feel like I need to tell somebody.
Yeah. So like I start calling like the grown-ups, dad, Uncle
grown-ups.
Bob, like whatever grown-up should be handling this because it's not fucking me. I'm 17, right? Like if she's gonna offer herself, I don't know, I'm gonna
I can't have that on my conscience.
no, right? So I call dad and I like tell him what she says, and their reaction is very,
Yeah.
meh, well, whatever. Like nobody
She does it all the
seems
time.
panicked. And I'm like, what is happening? And that was one of the turning points in my mind is like from like a kid to an adult where I was like, why aren't they reacting to this? Like it seems like someone should be doing something here to like, and they're like, no.
Nobody was
Like,
fazed.
she does this all the time because everything is calculated for attention.
Yeah, basically. That makes
Right.
total sense. I mean, she would pick fights a lot.
Oh,
for attention.
She's picked fights with me 100 times.
Didn't she like beat you up or something? Not beat you up, but like punch you at the shore one time when we were all down as like a family. No,
No.
she chased me around.
Maybe that was you.
Yeah.
I got punched at Thanksgiving or Easter, like when all of us were together, all the cousins and everybody for like a holiday or something. And I want to say I was like messing with one of her kids, one of our little cousins, like being an older bratty cousin.
Jess was a real bitch. As
I
a
think
kid.
I might have picked him up by his neck. And
Yeah, that seems right.
And she saw it. I mean, but again, I was a kid. Like, I don't.
Well, you did it to all of us.
Well, this is what we do. We play fight. But she saw me and like
So red.
flipped her shit, and then like we started going at it, and of course I was a brat and being disrespectful, owning it.
Mm-hmm.
But she was not being like it was a teachable moment, I think, from an adult perspective, and the way she handled it was to go buck crazy on me, which then made me react to her reaction, and I went buck crazy, where if she was like, listen, you don't do that, like that's how I would handle it now with my kid. Like that's a little kid, you're older, you know better.
Yeah,
right, and you teach them like why you don't do that. No, she was like, Dad said I'm gonna kill you, but, and like
Especially with
punched me.
I
She hit me.
Can't.
From that point forward, like all the cousins, she was known as Aunt Hollyfield.
Yeah.
Because she decked me.
Yeah.
Like, but who hits their kid?
Yeah, we even decorated her birthday party like that.
She's nuts.
Yeah, she's crazy. She has had several incidents over the last couple years where she's gotten physical with other people. For example, when Grandpa was passing away, I swear, I think the hospital, like the doctors were like, we are done dealing with you. For some reason, this aunt of ours was able to manipulate our grandparents into making her power of attorney over them should something happen to them. Now, she's the least sane out of anybody.
Yes.
It's like the blind leading the blind to have her.
It has something to do with her ability to manipulate, like, doctors and hospitals. And I think, like, I really believe that the grandparents, our grandparents, have thought, like, because she's had all these illnesses and she has been a part of this system, she's basically a doctor.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
And like, so she knows what she's doing, which is completely irrational and insane.
Psychotic.
Right.
Psychotic. So I'm telling you though, Grandpa, I think definitely was asked to leave that hospital because they didn't want to deal with her anymore.
Yeah, and this is during COVID when he passed.
Yeah.
And they kicked them out of the hospital.
Essentially.
They definitely did.
I know. So we had to have like a hospital bed brought back to their house, like their apartment that so they live in like a community that's 55 plus and or assisted living. So our Aunt Morphine took it upon herself with her husband to buy this like apartment where my grandparents would live. Yep. And it had 2 bedrooms, so when she would come up from Florida, she could stay there and have a place to stay. Mind you, she charged them rent, which was the most fucked up thing I've ever heard in my life. Who charges their parents rent?
No, I know.
That's a joke.
Especially when they're like elderly.
Especially,
and
yes,
like
she's
living off
fucking,
of
they're
Social Security.
Old.
Right.
They're old. They don't have any money. Like,
No.
what are you doing? That was so sleazy. Whatever. Anyway, Grandpa gets brought back there, so he's going to pass away in his home. And at the time, so our cousin is married to a nurse, and Crystal, and she's amazing.
Yes, we love
Crystal's the best. She deals with.
She's like a legitimate nurse, like
not like a. I've been to so many doctors. I think I'm a nurse.
I think I'm a nurse.
Basically a nurse.
Like, such a kind, caring medical professional. Works hard. Made it all through COVID. Like dealing with the worst of the worst. Like she's an amazing person, and like her profession, she's just a kind, compassionate, wonderful nurse.
Amazing bedside manner. She's just wonderful in every way.
Yeah.
And she had offered to take care of Grandpa, like come by and give him his medications and make sure he was comfortable while he was like essentially dying. He's dying. Yeah. So there was one incident where she had come by and it was scheduled for her to come and basically relieve hospice so that she could give him his medications and kind of take over for a few hours and give everybody a break. And when Aunt Morphine saw that she was giving him the medicine, she went bananas.
Yep.
Like bananas. I'm the only one who can give him his medicine. And literally, they threw down.
Yeah.
She first of all, she grabbed Crystal, which Crystal is not by any means a big girl, but she could whoop the shit out of her.
Well, she's like 80 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, Crystal's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But she pushes Crystal. Crystal just shoved her back or whatever happened, and they threw down between the two of them. But this is happening over this man's dying body. I think you guys need to take this trip with me. Who fucking does this?
Yeah, you're fist fighting over your father's dead body.
Over who's giving him the medicine.
Right.
Are you nuts?
Right. Again, it's an attention thing because she wants to be able to be like, I took care of him while he was dying.
You're
And so
absolutely right.
I did all of this because I'm so wonderful.
I'm such a good daughter. Nobody else comes to see them.
Right. No one else took care of him. I took care of him. But there's clearly other people willing to help, and she won't allow it to happen.
I mean, let's be honest. So there was a group text sent out to all the cousins by our other aunt saying, after Grandpa had passed, you know, everybody should really take turns to come and see Grandma because, you know, she's lonely now. She was with Grandpa forever and she had nobody to torture anymore.
Right.
So, like, we needed to go and spend time with her, which was fine. Like, no big deal. But ultimately, nobody wanted to go out of the 17 cousins. What is there, like 17, 21?
Yeah.
Altogether? Nobody wanted to go because
She was there.
she was living there.
Yeah.
Her husband basically left her there.
Here. Yeah. After our grandfather died 2 years ago,
Kind of like,
he went back to Florida and was like, she's your problem now, suckers.
bye.
Bye.
And we're left standing there like, but you married her, that you bought this.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
this is your product.
And then they all want us to come and like be with Grandma, and no one wants to go there because she's there, and every time you're there, it's crazy. She just fucked up shit at that place. Like, they're in a literal like assisted living facility, and she's like outside on the deck smoking weed,
pissing off the neighbors.
all the neighbors are mad. She fucking fired a gun off in the like, I don't even.
She was saying she was going to kill herself. She got pissed at
again
our other
Right.
aunt and said she was going to kill herself. Went into her room in that apartment, and the next thing you know, they hear pow. She shot a fucking gun off out the window.
Like, why?
I remember hearing about her shooting off the gun.
I know.
And Dad called me to tell me. And I told him, like, let me tell you something right now. Somebody needs to go over there and see if she actually shot off a gun.
And call the fucking police.
And call the fucking cops.
What if somebody's like dead on the floor upstairs?
Exactly. Like, I, as far as I was concerned, if anybody was hurt or anything like that, there was no way that I was not going to call the cops. I was like, get over there now and call the police.
This is a prime opportunity to get this crazy individual away from everyone. Like right now, like away from Grandma, because so the whole Munchausens thing, if we're going to flip back to that real quick, is like she basically makes my grandmother sick. So like every time she's around, something new is wrong with my grandmother. She's fine. And then
she comes around,
yeah, and it's like, oh, Grandma's got this, Grandma's got that.
Back in the hospital.
Like,
back in the hospital.
She makes our grandmother sick, and she has been doing this for years, and it's like another crazy psycho control thing. So like this gun firing thing was a chance to be like, get this bitch away from everyone. It's done. Like, we can be free of the chaos. No one did anything. So like Uncle Bob went over
and checked
to
the
make
ceiling
sure there was no bullet
and the
holes.
floors for bullet holes. And then he basically found like the gun that she shot off was like a pellet gun,
right,
or something like that. Like, first of all, who gave this bitch a gun?
No, I know, it's insane.
Whose gun is it? Where did that come from?
I think it was probably Grandpa's.
I think so too.
Grandpa used to have tons of guns, right? Yeah. He hunted and stuff, and like, I don't know. She probably,
and he was in the military.
Well, like it was a prime time, and no one did anything. No one called the cops. Nothing. And we were like, if God forbid something happened to someone like upstairs, outside, or to Grandma in the future, like, don't we think this should be documented somewhere that this crazy person is playing with guns?
Hello, McFly.
Right.
Somebody? Nobody?
Nobody.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Nobody. Nothing. So this family continues to just allow the crazy to occur.
Well, it's enabling. It's just enabling bullshit because nobody wants to deal with it, and it's aggravating as it can be. I'll tell you what, Grandma's the biggest enabler.
I know,
the biggest
she
enabler.
totally is. She is.
She won't freaking tell her like,
I think
enough.
This all stems from like the whole childhood trauma thing for them, where it's like Grandma feels guilty because she had triplets and she's not one of them, so I have to make her feel special. And so like Grandma never ever wants to do anything against her, because she throws a fucking temper tantrum like a toddler and will either kill herself or kill someone else.
Absolutely.
Kill herself.
I mean, she doesn't see some of her behavior as being like creepy.
Grandma doesn't see her behavior as being creepy, or she doesn't. So we need to like take all these guns away and make sure that she has like no ability to kill herself or anyone else, because it's freaking nuts.
We need to put her away.
Yeah. How, like, I guess Munchausens must be like a really hard thing to
Prove.
diagnose, yeah, or prove. But I bet you, like today, with way like all the healthcare networks are connected, if anyone took a look at it, they could probably prove that that's what's going on here, because
I mean,
she's been on every drug under the sun since. I mean, that's how she got her name, Aunt Morphine. Like, she used to walk around with morphine patches like stuck on her body, and she would like show them to us, and
she would like brag about.
She was always like offering like the cousins. I remember she'd be like, "I have a Xanny bar. You want one?" I'm like, "No, I don't want your pills. If they make me like you fucking crazy."
Oh my gosh, she would. Anytime Mark comes down to see her, to see Grandma, and Aunt Morphine's there, she'll like elbow Mark and be like, "Hey, you want to come outside and smoke some weed with me?" And he's like, "No." Like, no.
We're at an old age home.
No. I have a state job.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No.
Thanks, but no.
No, we're good. We don't need your drugs, thanks. You keep those all for yourself.
Ridiculous.
So like we always have to like save people from her when we're out at public places, because she'll start going on and on about her ailments forever. So like if you see one of the cousins getting caught like talking to her, you go and like grab them, right? But she's tried to like fight me at weddings. She tried to fight me at Matt and Ashley's wedding. I'm like in a bridesmaid's dress, like looking all prim and proper, like having a grand old time. We had a ton of mutual friends. All our friends are at the wedding. We're all hanging out, and like this bitch is trying to fight me for I don't even know why. Like pulled me into the bathroom and was like ready to throw down, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what did I
remember
do?
seeing her at Mikey's wedding, and like she was like bragging about how she drank straight vodka.
Yes,
and
at
like,
80 pounds.
Ew. First of all, gross. Second of all, should you be drinking straight vodka? Like,
especially with all the medication
shit that you're taking.
Yeah, like should not be drinking
I
vodka.
don't know. I'm no doctor, but I mean, let's just put two and two together here. It doesn't seem like a good idea.
No.
We didn't even get through cocktail hour,
and
she was full down drunk.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we've all been there where we're like, all right, I've had a little too much to drink.
Yeah, but you know how to like pace yourself and what you can and can't drink, especially as like a 60-year-old woman. Like, you
At a
should
wedding.
know what you can handle at this point in life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
No.
Oh my gosh, she couldn't stand up. It was horrifying.
It's embarrassing.
And like you said, like anytime somebody gets stuck in a conversation with her, if like we see somebody getting stuck in a conversation with her, it's like, we have to go save so-and-so.
Yep.
Go save them. Somebody go get them.
Yep. Always.
Crazy.
Always. Yeah, you can't. It's like embarrassing to go out in public with her. We actually funerals, weddings. She's always insane. So our grandfather's funeral, she was like, she threw some sort of hissy fit over something, and it's like in the middle of the like eulogy, right? Remember?
Oh
Everybody
my God!
was
And
like
she
so
got up
quiet, and like I feel like one of our uncles was like playing the guitar and like singing a nice song.
That
or
was
whatever.
the weirdest funeral
I don't
I've
know,
ever
so
been
fucking
to in
weird.
my life. Well, up there. It's up there.
Oh, that we'll have to talk about that one next. But like, yeah, she went like berserko. Like, I don't know what happened and what made her snap. But they're like carrying her out, and she's just so dramatic. And it's like, yeah,
she just stood up in the middle of nowhere and just gave it like one of these. We're like, oh, geez.
Because the attention is on the body in the casket and not on her. So we have to find a way to bring it back to me and my Munchausens.
So one of the things I was going to say about that like that Grandma doesn't seem to think is creepy. It's like, especially when Grandpa died, she was like, she calls her mom Mommy.
I know.
And she's like, I'm going to sleep in bed with you tonight, Mommy. And I'm like, ugh, what is that? Who does that? That is so freaking cringy. Why are you saying that? It's so cringy. Like, why?
Mommy.
Could you imagine if I called
Daddy.
Mom Mommy or Dad Daddy?
No, it's cringy. It's definitely cringe. So cringe.
I'm gonna sleep with you tonight, Mommy. I'm like, oh, this is so weird. Is anybody else uncomfortable?
Always. Every time.
Cringy.
Every time.
Cringy.
Every time. Again, it's an attention-seeking thing, though. It's
It
like
absolutely
whatever
is.
she can do to say stuff to make other people be like, and her to be like, look at me, look at me.
Yeah. Oh, Mommy needs me to sleep with her tonight. I'm like, what?
No, she doesn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I really don't think that's right.
No,
I don't know.
Totally.
Holy
Definitely not.
crazy.
So we go, our grandmother's sister passed away. And we go to her funeral out in Texas. We see cousins out there that we haven't seen in like 15 years. It was so nice to like be together with everybody. And this is like extended family, right? Because it's like our dad's cousins now, and it's our grandmother's sister who died, their kids, so they're like our age. So
yeah,
it was awesome. And like these are girls that we hung out with and grew up with when we were young, that we would see you know, here and there. So like we know them, we've had a relationship with them, and thank God for social media, right? Because we can always like talk to each other. But
we hadn't seen them in years.
No, and going to this event brought us all close together again, I think. But it's so funny because they like heard all these stories before we got out there about us, like that we're horrible, right?
Yeah.
And that we're the worst, because Aunt Morphine was like telling them these stories that we're like these shitty humans and we don't take care of grandma.
Well, Uncle Rudy even called Dad before we came out and was like, listen,
yeah,
I just don't want any drama.
Right.
When you guys get down. We're like, we don't bring we're not the ones
people
who bring the drama.
No.
Wait until you see. Just wait.
Yes. So our dad tried to like give him the reality of what's actually going on, but she like planted a seed that it was us before.
Well, I mean, he was only talking to her through the to the family,
because
through her,
because I think she made it seem like no one else wanted to have anything to do with them. Yeah.
Nobody cared,
which is so messed up.
That's bullshit.
I know.
That was bullshit.
No, totally messed up.
Carol was awesome.
Yeah. So we go to this funeral and we're with all our family. Such a nice time. But of course, Aunt Morphine is stirring her drama and making her moments throughout the whole thing, where it's like not about what we're there for, which is to celebrate this woman's life. It's about her and her crazy and her sickness and her everything. And so
and she dragged Grandma out there.
And she dragged her grandmother out there, which I think it was good that Grandma got to go. And I think
I agree,
because we were all there, it was fine, right? She was fine.
I agree.
But I feel like she was less fine than she should have been because of the chaos that comes with this woman.
100%.
So anyway, so there were like multiple incidents that occurred where like at one point they're fighting with her at the hotel because
she walked out of
the dinner at their house.
Yeah, of the dinner at their house. Is walking through the streets of Texas, like small town Texas. You know, there's like sex trafficking and shit going on. Like,
yeah,
pitch black out.
Yep.
And just is like, I'm out of here. She was mad because
I don't even know why.
I don't know.
I tried, like, I can't even.
Who even knows?
Yeah.
But whatever the reason was, she walked out in a tiff, and we're all just like, let her go. Maybe she'll get abducted. Who cares?
Right. Bye.
So whatever. She goes. The next thing you know, we leave. They go. Dad and I think Uncle Rudy went back to her room to bring Grandma back.
Oh, right, because she just left
she left Grandma high and dry.
Yeah.
And as soon as they walked in, she went bananas on them, like absolutely ape shit.
Yep.
Going nuts. Uncle Rudy is the nicest man in the entire world.
100%.
All right, like as is his son-in-law.
Yep.
And I mean, like I could not imagine, but she went berserko on them.
These poor people. It was embarrassing.
To the point where he was like, I'm going to call the cops on you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And she's like, fuck you, I'll call the cops on you.
Yeah.
It was something about, she overheard them saying, like, she should not be the power of attorney.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what it was. I think they were, like, questioning, like, how is she in charge of your, like, of your mom to dad? Like, your grandma.
She just abandoned her here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was. And she went berserko.
Yeah.
So we go to this funeral. Funerals in Texas are different than they are in New Jersey. So this was like a totally unique experience for us.
Absolutely.
They basically like lay out all the flowers and the urn at the front of the room. And then the rest of the room is tables. And there's like a buffet behind you.
Literally, like apps.
So people are coming in, they're
Sandwiches.
eating. Yeah, and like mingling, and it's so nice. So my grandmother sits down at a table.
That was different.
Then we all started like sitting around next to her. We were all making sure that like grandma had food to eat, right? Because she's not like super mobile, and she's in Texas.
Yep.
So we're all like sitting together, and I guess what happened was they were going to start to do the eulogy, and there was not a seat at the table for Aunt Morphine.
Well, Aunt Morphine got up to like go outside and smoke weed or God knows what.
Right, because she always does that.
Exactly.
She stinks like cigarettes all the time.
Reeks of cigs. And listen, I was like a diehard cig smoker in my day, but
it's nasty.
now I'm like, bruh.
No.
vape like an adult.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, what can I tell you? I don't know what to tell you. Like, everybody knows this is what you do now. Whatever. Anyway, she went outside for whatever reason, like I said, to smoke. That's all I can think.
Yeah.
And when she came back in, the table was full.
Yep.
And we were all sitting there listening to the eulogy, and it was beautiful. Like, it was really nice. Except
she didn't have a spot.
So because she didn't have a spot, she took it upon herself to go. She was pissed.
She was definitely pissed.
She was pissed.
She was huffing and puffing, so she stomping around the room, trying to like create a scene.
Yeah, like making commotion.
Yeah,
while
and then
he's trying to
and then
talk.
everything like quieted down, and he went up to go and talk.
Yes,
and
her
that's
son-in-law.
when she decides to plant herself in the front of the room.
No pun intended.
Plant herself in the front of the room behind a floral arrangement, and like stood there in the front of the room behind one of those like standing funeral arrangements.
The sprays. Okay, let me to give people who are listening the best description of what to imagine while this is going on. Like, while this man is giving the eulogy, like, you know that Homer Simpson meme where like you just see him standing there and then he just sinks into the bushes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It goes like backwards.
Yep.
Into That's what she was doing.
Yes.
She was the Homer Simpson of this funeral.
But she's like in the front of the room, so it's like the
Everyone's
flowers,
watching.
the urn, and the guy that's talking, and then there she is, like in the middle of this fucking plant, just standing there,
Just standing
and
there.
the whole room
It's like, what's
can
going
clearly
on?
see this person hiding behind. Like, it was so fucking weird.
She was like
Yeah,
peeking out, like, you
peeking
know,
out,
like, it was
I can't-
weird.
It was so weird, and then like they're taking pictures of her, so we'll definitely post that because it's like you have to see the visual.
I mean, the best was who took the picture. I'm sorry, it was unexpected. The person who took the picture,
Yes.
and they sent it to us, and we were. I won't say who it is, but we were like, we knew you were on our team.
Yes, totally.
We knew you
100%.
saw
Yes.
what we saw. Long story short, by the end of the trip, basically everybody was like, "Yo, we're sorry.
Yeah.
we just thought." Everything she said was, you
True.
guys are this, that, and the other. She's out of her mind. She's bonkers.
Oh yeah, totally.
She was going to leave grandma there.
She was
Yeah.
like there's no words. Like it's nuts.
Like, you
It's
can't
nuts.
just take her to Texas and leave her.
And it's like every event there's something else with this woman. So that's like the history of Aunt Morphine, but we have like so many more stories to come, I'm sure, on her, because
Countless.
anytime someone dies, it
It's a
becomes like
scene.
a whole production because she has to be the center of attention. God help us when our grandmother passes away, because she still is the power of attorney. And I can't even imagine how this is going to go down.
I don't know what's going to happen with that.
She refused to plan.
And this one's on borrowed time, let's be honest.
And she refused to participate, remember, in planning Grandpa's funeral because everyone
yeah.
else was like making decisions, and she like threw it.
she threw a
fit.
shit fit.
Yeah.
Because we went and picked out the casket.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
with grandma. And
Right.
the flowers
Right.
and a couple other things.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, she's just, oh my God.
No, it's bad.
You can't.
But anyway, so yeah, there's our Aunt Morphine, Munchausens by proxy, our poor grandma. Constantly.
I love her.
Constantly sick. We're going to go visit her soon. We
I
have
know.
to.
We'll go next week, I told her.
She's going to be mad at us after this episode, but
Yeah, whatever. She'll probably forget it.
she will. She'll forget. She'll
She'll
forget
have
that we
somebody
come visit her
She'll have somebody reminding her, I'm sure.
constantly, right?
Oh, God.
Anyway, so we're Sisters Uncensored. I'm Jess.
I'm Ashley.
Keep listening. Follow us on social media. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.